that one hurt a bit. We finished really strongly again. To be 19-20 points down, coming out of the break, the long break, and have two guys on the bench playing with 20. We were sort of backs against the wall, but I thought the boys showed some really good character in the second half to fight it out. But again, polish and finish and, inflicting damage or the lack thereof, it hurts you eventually. So unfortunately, it's a painful one for all of us, and, we missed opportunities. We missed them through the first half as well, unfortunately. The wide open play where we're moving the ball forward and we've got a 2-on-1 inside 50 and we find the opposition defender with a kick. It's I think our stats look okay, disposal efficiency-wise, but they were critical moments where we didn't score.
How much is that about you and where you're at, or where there's competition is this year? Because there's a fair bit of it going on at the moment, lack of poise and composure and polishing games. So it's not just you, but how much is it about where you're at compared to where the competition's at?
It's a tough one to answer, to be honest. There's no doubt. We're not hiding from the fact that our skills aren't where they need to be. Decision making's not at the level, and we're working on that as well as we possibly can at the moment. The issue we have with that is working on it under pressure in game-like situations. We're about to go into quite a solid month or so of game after game, 4 or 5 day breaks. Hopefully that'll help us, but it's almost like having a midweek training session under pressure, but it's a game. That's our challenge at the moment. That's every club's challenge, is to be able to train at the level without contact, without pressure. Some clubs are obviously doing it better than others. We're working on it, but it's we would say at the moment, unfortunately, we're playing the way we train. We've got to find a way to break that.
So you've had a solid lot of games now. How much have you embedded into what you want your game to be on these players?
Yeah, I mean that's the positive part about where we're getting to. We're working really hard on having a style that we want to show. Unfortunately, what it looks like when it's not quite clicking, it doesn't really have a trend to it. So our fans would be frustrated, as we are, with our lack of polish and our lack of finish. And, you turn 3 or 4, ball movement passages into goals, the game changes. We're having 12-point swings at the moment where we're up, we're going, to try and defend off of what is a fast play, moving through the centre of the ground inside 50 to a turnover and the opposition come back at you. It's hard to defend. So we're our own worst enemies at the moment.
How did you turn it around? Albeit the finishing touch wasn't there, but was it the clearance work or the stuff at the contest that probably was impressive in that second half, particularly the last quarter? Yeah,
we fought second half. We structurally changed a few things up at half time. So as a coaching group, we in the first half, it was a challenge for our guys. They had a couple of extras up high. We knew the danger of playing against Essendon, their speed out of stoppage, that we didn't want to allow them to have that free run forward. But we tweaked that slightly in the second half, and we had a few what ifs on if contested ball or stoppage clearance wasn't going our way, what we would go to, and we went there just after half time when we were able to sit down with the players. So that was good that the guys implemented what it was. They felt like in the second half they were able to fight it out. We can't do much in centre bounce other than structurally, and talk about possibly the way we play that from a system point of view. But around the ground, I thought our guys, and that was probably part of the character that we loved, was that they stood up and really fought in there in the second half.
What's the initial diagnosis for Brad and Tom?
Yeah. I believe both hamstrings, but we don't know to what extent. Fingers crossed that they're not major ones. And talking to Tom post-game, he's reasonably confident he might have got it early. Hopefully didn't sort of go through for too long with a hammy. Brad, I'm not sure about yet, but we'll have to wait and see.
Confident you've got the depth to cover them, assuming that they're coming into this block of games that they might miss a couple? Or?
Yeah, well, I mean, part of the management now is we're going to have to look at playing other players as it is. we'd love to have both of those players out there in our side because they're both extremely important to us, as are all our players, but there's no hiding from the fact that Tom stepped up into a captain's role for a reason. But I thought he was outstanding. I saw a fair bit of him on the bench, still leading, and that's why he's where he is. But yeah, we'll need to make some changes, and some younger guys will get opportunity, as will some of our older guys.
Brodie Smith was really upset after the game. Have you spoken to him yet?
I have, yeah, briefly. He wasn't the only one. I think, as I said, you feel gutted after losses like that, where you believe you had a real opportunity to win it. So for Brodie, he gave everything in that game, and he has now for a number of weeks. He had a fair bit of attention last week. He's now had 3 solid weeks in a row where he's played some great footy. So the emotion's a good thing.
But there's a difference in the way you move the ball in that last quarter, that you can get 7 shots on goal compared to the previous 3.
Is there a difference? Is that what you're asking?
Well, there's a basic differences with the way you move the ball in the last quarter.
I'd say a lot of it comes out of what we're doing in and around stoppage, Rich. It's being able to have that ball in your front half for a period of time. I haven't looked at the exact number yet of what it was last quarter, but I think the inside 50s were 16, 12 or thereabouts. So to win inside 50s, you're getting a spell off the ball. Our backs are holding really strong shape. We're in an advantage position that any mistake they make, we're going to score. We're keeping our backs fresh, which holds our shape in better. If they do get through us, then we're able to bring the ball back with a little bit of vigour. But that's what we're looking to do as a side, and most sides are at the moment, is to own the game and play in a position where you're not resting as such, but you're not spending as much energy as the opposition.
So if you lose clearances that fold back too far for you?
Yeah, if we're getting hurt in centre bounce, which we have for most of the year, we're starting from a back foot. We're starting in our back 50, and our defenders are defending, our midfielders are spreading. We're running up the hill, as they'd say, and the oppo are running down the hill. But and the challenge then is to actually be able to push through that and move the ball out of your back, your back third. Not many teams have done that this year really well. And so when, the last couple of weeks we've been really positive that we've been able to play a little bit of front of centre footy off the back of getting our clearance right. It's that first punch. We've been able to throw the first punch, but not in the first half today, unfortunately.
Have you had a look at the half-time scuffle yet? Have you had a look at it? Matt Crouch and Townsend?
No, I haven't. No.
How are you feeling personally, Matt? So close to your first win.
Same as the players. Yeah, I'm frustrated for our group because I know the work they're doing, and I feel for our players and our staff who are, we're doing some great work off field. They've stuck really tight through what is a tough time. We're not going to hide from that. This for some of our guys, it's, as you saw with Smithers, it's an emotional time. It's incredible what one kick can do, at the end of a game for one side and the other. So it's it hurts when we're here to win. We don't want to lose games of footy. So personally, I'm hurting as well at the moment, but we go to work. We'll get back in there shortly, and we're back to work again with shorter breaks.
Just on that, Matthew, now it's a sprint. Is it better to go with experienced, harder bodies, or the younger learning kids when you're going to have to just run them harder and faster and rebound them harder?
I think it's a balance still. I think you still want a balance in your side of what you've got, because it's hard to talk about young and old and individuals. I thought, I love what Will Hamill's doing at the moment. His one-on-one work and his ground ball stuff's, top shelf. So we'd love to keep Will out there and in what is a tough time. But it'll be a management from a high performance point of view. There'll be a fair bit of discussion around which players are best having a freshen up and which players will be able to push their way through this sort of tough period. Especially a 4-day break. That's quite a challenge for some of the older bodies, but even some of the young guys. We've got a number of young guys that might be a challenge.
Does that work for or against your need to speed the development of this group?
I actually see it as a real positive for us because we get to play more games of footy. And only at the moment we're in a different situation because of the COVID and protocols. We're not able to train at a level I'd like us to train at this point. We'd be doing a lot of contest work. We'd be doing a lot of ball movement and front of centre footy. I had one of the players come up to me post-game and ask, can we try and get a midfield connection with our forwards, which is an obvious area that stands out. And I said, well, we can do it in a 9 if you want to do it. And so, we're trying to work around those protocols. So playing more games, I believe, works for us. And there's a few other sides in the comp and coaches I've had a chat to that feel a little bit the same.
Respecting what you said about the hurt and that you're in it to win, you must be encouraged though from where you were against Port and the Gold Coast to I guess you're giving your fans some genuine hope now that you're showing a bit of ticker and putting in real hard work. Yeah,
I hope our support. I know it's hard because our supporters want to win as much as we do. So I know it's hard for them, but I hope they feel. I hope they feel like they saw some things out there today that made them proud. Some moments. We'll get the critical moments right, and before you know it, it turns around. And I've said it. I think I've said it every week. And you're never that far away. We get a few things right in critical stages of this game. Who knows where it finishes? Momentum can be an amazing thing in sport. And we're unfortunately at the moment not getting that momentum on our side. But I don't want to sit here doom and gloom. We've got some some great things happening with the footy club. We've got some guys that are developing. I thought Fish again took another step up today, and he attacked the footy. And I think we'd all be excited about what we see there. Just sticks a couple of marks. She's a different game for him. So, and that's only finding one example.
Did you have a trial scratch game yesterday? You had a scratch game yesterday?
We did with Port, yeah.
Anybody stand out there that?
We had a few. We had a few of the guys step up. Gibbsy had a solid game. Okay. He was probably our best in that game.
How did you use him in that game?
He's played a bit of on ball and a little bit at half back, but we've got him in around the footy at the moment. They're unusual games. It's 14 aside, so there's a fair bit of space. But it's working well. I mean, both clubs are benefiting from playing that game over a training session.
And Bryce defensively, is he getting better there?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's working on every part of his game. And, we'll look to when is the time for him to come in and when's his game get to the level that we feel like he's going to add to the group, whether that's at half back or whether that's on ball. We're playing him on ball at the moment because he gets a lot more of a workout in there, and the step up to AFL is huge from a 14 aside. 10-minute hit out, have a spell for 2.